Hey guys, welcome to the Friday wrap. Okay, we are into June. Last week I mentioned we might start talking about some strategies that's going to help you towards the end of the financial year. We're going to start that off with one called Super Can Be Super. Super really is super. If there was ever, let me just get across to it, a need for the general advice warning, it is today. Please don't run away and make a contribution to super. Do something which you think, that's the way Jace explained it, that's how it's going to benefit me, without giving me a call. Give me a call, let's run your numbers, let's see if it's accurate. So don't just run off and do something, make sure you get the help first. End of financial year. It's not just about buying things for your business and getting a tax deduction this year. There's some strategies which you can implement, paid or use personally, that's going to benefit you personally. Let's have a look at a couple. There are two types of super contributions that we can make in this country to our super funds. They are concessional contributions and they are non-concessional contributions. Concessional are contributions that go into super pre-tax. Your employer, if you earn $100,000, they pay 10% of your income as a contribution to super. They claim it as a tax deduction in their business and the super fund pays tax on it. That 10% is going to 10.5% in July. So your employer contributions, you could salary sacrifice some employer contributions or some of your income, not your contributions. If you earn that 100 grand, you could salary sacrifice some of that 100,000 into super. And then we've got personal contributions. So you may want to make contributions to super personally and claim a tax deduction for them as well. After tax contributions, not pre-tax, so after tax is you've got money in the bank, it's been taxed, and you can put that into super if you want to, referred to as non-concessional, and these are contributions that you don't claim a tax deduction for. Let's have a look at a couple of strategies. First of all, in relation to the concessional contributions. These contributions, or claiming a deduction for a concessional contribution, is used to reduce your personal tax. Let's have a look. Suzanne has a salary of $90,000. During the year, she sells some shares, okay? She made $20,000 capital gain on the shares, but she owned them for greater than 1 year. Because she owned them for greater than 1 year, she's entitled to the CGT concession. She gets a 50% discount. If she held them for less than 1 year, she doesn't have entitlement to it, but she owned them for greater than 1 year. So she made $20,000, but 50% is disregarded, meaning $10,000 or 50% of the gain is added to her taxable income. She can make a personal contribution to super of $10,000 and claim that contribution as a tax deduction. So she started with 90, she was going to add 10 on, and because she's at 34.5%, she would pay $3,450 in tax. That's how much extra she has to pay. 34.5% is her marginal rate of tax. Up she goes by 10,000, pays 3,450 in tax on that money. But she decides to contribute 10,000 into super to negate that extra income, which means that she claims a tax deduction for it, and she won't have to pay any tax on that money. But let me hear you out. That was confusing. I hope that all made sense. Let me hear you out. Let you know what I mean. With the contribution that she makes to super, she's claiming a tax deduction for the contribution, and that means that the super fund will pay tax on it. Super funds pay tax at 15%, okay? So as much as she was saving $3,450, she's going to have to pay 15% or $1,500. The net benefit of the strategy is $1,950, meaning she's 19.5% better off than what she would have been had she have kept that money personally and paid the tax on it personally. The downside if Susan was young, 20s, 30, 40, whatever her age is, she's locked that money away into super until she reaches a preservation age, which is age 60. We also have a cap. So if Susan was on big money and earning, already at these caps, she couldn't go above those caps. So things that you need to be mindful of. It's why I said never was there a better option or a better time to talk about the warning at the beginning, because I don't want you to run away and do something when it might have actually adverse effects for you. So the other side of it is when we've got non-concessional contributions, reasons that we might put money into super and not claim a tax deduction for it. Let's have a look at this example. Bob, he earns $40,000 per annum, okay? Because he earns less than 41,112, and there's a reason we've used that number, he can contribute up to $1,000 a year into super as a non-concessional contribution. So Susan's was concessional. She's going to claim a tax deduction. Bob's is non-concessional. No tax deduction is claimed. Because he earns under 41,112, he's entitled to the government co-contribution. They will give him $500, which is the maximum that they will give you. They will give you up to 50% of what you put in, up to $1,000. So you can put in $1,000, the government will match it 50% of your money. So you're getting a 50% return on your $1,000. Happy days. No need to make any applications or anything like that. Once your super fund's lodged, once they recognise that it's a non-concessional contribution, once your tax return's done, once they recognise you earn less than 41,112, these two guys are going to talk to each other, and the government says, we owe Bob $500. There you go, Bob. Happy days. The second reason that you might want to use a non-concessional contribution, we can make contributions of $110,000 a year, okay, as a non-concessional contribution. So in this example, we're talking about Jeff. He's 62, he's single, he's retired, he's just received a $400,000 inheritance from his mum's estate. He can contribute $110,000 a year into super, but he can also bring forward 3 years. So if he was to do that and bring forward 3 years, that's $330,000, but he's got $400,000. So getting towards the end of the financial year, and this is why we talk about this as a strategy, he can put in $110,000 this year, and he's just made the cap. He's just met the cap. He hasn't gone over the cap. So he does that in June. Come July, when the caps start again, he can put in $110,000, but he can bring forward another 3 years, so he can put in up to $330,000 next year. So we've been able to manipulate the situation that he could potentially put in $440,000 over the 3 years, and a little bit that extra month of June. So he puts in $110,000 in June, puts in $290,000, which is the balance of his $400,000, and he's got a lot more than the $330,000 into super. So it's just a strategy. We talk about what are your objectives, what are the strategies, what are the products. In these couple of instances, especially this guy, he wants to get as much as he can into super. So the strategy is put a bit in June and then put the rest in July, and he can use more than the $300,000. And then if he was married, same thing with his wife. He can get a lot into super using strategies like this. Okay, guys, I've gone over. I've talked for a long time. There's a lot of numbers. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. If it makes sense to you or you want to get some clarity if this is going to work for you, if there's some things that you should do, give me a call. 0402 866 869. That's my mobile number. Call the office number. You'll catch me there as well. All right, guys, great chatting. Talk soon.